Hello, amazing business owners. Welcome to another edition of Website Wednesday. As a reminder, I do have a ton of requests for these website reviews, which is amazing, and I am happy to do that, but there is only one of me, and there are only so many hours in the day, so I will do my best to get to them as soon as possible. I'm kind of just going right down the list, so if you would like your website reviewed, don't forget to head on over to the Business Straight Up community, which is at businessstraightup.com/community. It is a Facebook group, and just look for the thread for Website Wednesday. There's one posted every Wednesday, and if you add yours there, we will get it into the list, and I will do it as soon as possible. So today, we are going to do a website review for Ms. Barcelona, and her business is Velvet Crow Studio. She is based in Colorado and does a lot of family photography as well as weddings. So this is her website, and I'm just going to click over and check on something real quick. Yes. Love. I just wanted to see that picture real quick. So Tony asked for a full website review, and that is what we are going to do today. So I do like the logo right here. It is very clear, and I love that we have one photo here. I do wonder though, it says Denver-based Colorado family photographer, and then it looks like potentially a wedding photo here. So to me, that makes me wonder, are you a family photographer? Are you a wedding photographer? And then here it says family studio, wedding, and elopement photography across the Front Range and greater Denver metro area. So Tony, I think what you were trying to accomplish here is probably some SEO with some keywords. However, I would caution you not to dilute what you really want to do. So if you don't want to specialize, that's certainly okay. I do know a lot of photographers that do not work in one specific specialty and they are successful. However, when you have family photographer here and then a wedding photo here and then it says family studio, wedding, and elopement, it's very confusing to me on the first page of your website, and I feel like I don't really know what you do. So I would take this text and move it below the photo, as well as any SEO text that you want, move it below the photo, and then make sure that the main photo here, that is what someone sees above the fold, meaning before they have to scroll, is what you want to book all the time. If you could do only one thing for the rest of your photo career, what would that be? And make sure that this photo matches that. And I'm not saying that this doesn't, but I just am not really sure what you want to do because there's so many different options here. So make sure that this photo matches your most favorite thing to shoot in the whole wide world. This photo is a little large, and again, I am looking at this on a desktop computer on a 24-inch monitor, so I'm not necessarily looking at it on a mobile app. You might want to double check how that looks on the mobile app as well. But when I scroll down, it says check out the galleries. I love the photo. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this photo. It's beautiful. However, there's not really, like, when I get here, I'm like, okay, well, now what do I do? Do I click on the picture? Oh, look, the picture is a link, but do I, like, am I going to see more pictures? Oh, I have to scroll down. Make sure that you make it immediately clear what you want your visitor to do above the fold so that I don't have to scroll down to know what to do next, because you have such a very small time frame in which to capture someone's attention. And if you make someone think too much about what you want them to do, you could lose them and they'll just click out completely. So we're gonna take out this text, put it down below the picture. It is important to have it, but if having it right here just confuses me. And then I also want to know, what do you want me to do? Like when I get to here and I'm like, oh, I really like that picture, now what? Don't make someone think too hard. We do have a button here to check out the galleries, and I'll click on that in just a second. I think you might want to update the year here for the copyright. I feel like I need to make a PSA because that is something that I see a lot after the first of the year. To update those, I should go into my own website and double check those as well. Right here we have email address and subscribe now. I'm so thrilled. I'm gonna go check out who you're using right now for that subscribe button. But I'm so happy that you have the subscribe now option on your website. So many people don't. It looks like you have Wix. So that is an excellent, excellent step in the right direction, and I'm very happy to see that. Some feedback on that, I would change the words here if you can. I'm sorry, I don't know what Wix offers as far as customization, but instead of subscribe now, so many people are hesitant to subscribe, right? You have to give someone a reason to subscribe. So are you giving them a freebie? Are you setting them up and hooking them up with maybe a checklist or some things to think about? Give them a reason to sign up. And that is all covered in my email course. There's a free email course as well, but I definitely want to make sure that we're not turning someone off with the word subscribe. I know that sounds weird because now we have all these subscription boxes and stuff, but that can be kind of like, oh, what am I subscribing to? There's no information here to tell someone what they're going to get when they do subscribe. So you might want to make that a little more clear. But I do love that you have that on your homepage. So many people are missing out on that opportunity. So high five for that. So we're going to click on check out the gallery since that is the button that we have. I noticed when I hovered over the button that it did turn green. I'm going to head back real quick. I don't know if that's intentional or if it's something you can customize. It doesn't really seem like it's a big part of your brand, the green. But if it is, that's cool. Just wanted to call your attention to that. Sometimes those are things I can miss on my website as well. So under the, when you click on the button on the home page, it takes you into this gallery. I love the layout of this. I love the magazine style layout. It's very different. It also gives me the opportunity to see all of the photos at once if I want to. I don't have to click them and make them larger, which I do really like. But if I want to click them, I can make them larger, and I have controls here too, which is fabulous. So I can control the speed that I'm looking at. I do see a favorite option, which is interesting. I'm not really sure what that does, but that's okay. I do love the fact that I can control it and go through the photos. It looks like somehow I turned on the captions. Let me see if I click out. Oh, it looks like this one, the caption is pulling up at one.jpg. So you might want to double check on that, or maybe just remove the caption unless it's something that you really want showing, because some of them don't necessarily have the caption showing. So something to look at in the photo settings or perhaps in the photo description. But I do love that you have the controls. That is wonderful. All the galleries are on one page. I feel like that's good and bad. It really kind of depends on your preference. For me personally, I like to have galleries on different pages, not only because it makes it easier to see, but also gives me additional SEO benefits. So something to consider. I don't think it's necessarily bad to have them all on one page, but if you wanted to maximize your SEO benefits by having different pages for different galleries, that could definitely be a plus or an upside to moving them to separate galleries. I do like, again, I'm just going to click into the wedding gallery so it gets bigger. It's thinking. It's going slow today. Love this. Very easy to go through. I don't see the captions. Oh, and then one popped up. So again, you might want to make sure that you either have captions on all of them or captions on none of them, because it's kind of confusing to have it pop up on one picture and not the others. Just because I can see some of the captions, and I'm guessing that this is actually the file name just based on this JPG here. In that case, you might want to start looking at naming some of your photos appropriately, again, to get those SEO benefits, because that is crazy important. Well, I say crazy important. It is a very big piece of SEO. It's not the only thing though, so don't feel like you have to go in. And again, whenever you're changing something for SEO, I know I say this all the time in the group, do not make a million changes at once. It can cause some big problems. Only do a few at a time. So as we continue going down, I see the other galleries. Oh, this travel photography is gorgeous. I love it. And again, I love the layout. It's like a magazine feel. I can look at as many photos as I want to, or I can click on them and make them bigger too. So we have pets, and I am an animal lover, so I'm all about the pets. Galleries all on one page. Again, Should you split them? There are additional SEO benefits to splitting them, but does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? I will leave that up to you. If you like to have them all on one page, please do. However, I will say, always, 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 you want to have text on every single page on your website. I know as a visual artist, a photographer, cake decorator, painter, whatever, that we just want to have our website show our strongest work, and I understand that. However, Google does not see pretty pictures. Google is not going to look at this photo and go, oh my gosh, look at his eyes. They're just so beautiful. Google doesn't work that way, nor do the other search engines. So I really, really, really recommend that even at the bottom, it doesn't have to be front and center so that it dilutes your work or your message. But at the bottom, you need to start putting at least 300 words of text onto every page of your website. Something to think about. So next up, let's click on the investment link. We have investment information, and this is on every page, which leads me to believe it's on the header, which is another thing that we probably want to, especially on the home page, instead put it into text down at the bottom instead of keeping it on the header. So let me click back over to investment. We have all of the various information. So again, putting it all on one page, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. I don't think it's a bad thing, but it does kind of confuse things at times. It just kind of depends on the session that someone wants, right? You could have added SEO benefits though if you put them on separate pages, because then you can have the wedding pricing and the real estate pricing separate and all that good stuff. So something to think about. You do have text here. However, for SEO benefits, if you wanted to add more text down here at the bottom that's not necessarily pricing, that is an option as well. I do love that these images are clickable. They do take a little bit of time to load, but I love that I can look at them larger too, because if someone just gets to your homepage and immediately clicks on investment, they can still look at your work big and beautiful if they choose to without going to the galleries page. So well done on that. Let's go to about. I love this photo. Speech therapist by day, photographer for sanity's sake, which I really, really love. You have photo credit, which is beautiful. And I love the picture, but I want to know more about you. Speech therapist by day doesn't tell me much, like especially someone that's not in the medical field. I may not even know what that is. Now, I happen to know just because my cousin does that, but a lot of people may not. So I want to know more about you. I want to know what you love. I want to know who you want to work with. And I just want to know a little bit more about exactly why you do what you do. So if you have not done my About Pages Masterclass, it's a free course. I will link to it in the notes for this video. I really recommend nailing down some information to put on your About page. It is one of the most underutilized pages on most websites, and yet one of the most visited. So it is definitely something that you want to pay attention to. All right, blog. First up, I want to say that I love that you have a little snippet of the blog post without forcing me to read the entire article. That drives me crazy when someone makes me scroll through an entire article to see the next article. I do not love that. So I really, really love that you have them broken down. It looks like we have a few different categories up here. I wonder, just kind of off the top of my head, whether Zara and Zara Baby are two different people. I know they're two different categories. I'm guessing they're the same person though. So you might want to combine those and just go into the back end and combine them. That way they're all under one or the other, just to make your life a little easier, make it look a little cleaner. Toddler fashion, photography, personal, lifestyle. Categories, I don't know. There's a lot of different opinions on categories and tags and how much they have to do with SEO. But I will say that for the SEO side of things, you might want to consider adding some keywords into your title as well as your blog post. So just from an SEO perspective, personally, I love the way it looks. And do your titles need to be changed? No, not necessarily. But if you want additional SEO benefits, it would be a way to have a little bit more juice in that area. So let's look at the contact page. I love that you have the contact form, but you also have an email address right here. Hooray! I cannot even tell you how many times people's contact forms are not working, and then they're missing out on all of these potential leads and inquiries, and they don't have another way for someone to contact them. So that's a huge bummer. And I do also love that it's a link. So many people put their email address on their website without linking it, which is kind of silly. So it is a link if I click on it, and I can tell that, everyone, by going down here and hovering over it, and it will show me where that link goes, which is fabulous. Name and email is all that's required. I'm kind of wondering if you've ever gotten just random name and email without any message, since that's not required. I've never really thought about that, but it is definitely an option. So maybe something to consider. Maybe you want the message required as well. And Facebook link is working. One little bit of feedback that's kind of small, but could potentially be a big deal, is that your logo is not clickable. So the Facebook link is clickable, the logo is not clickable. Typically, the assumption is with websites that the logo will take you back to the homepage. So it's not clickable here or here or here. I have to click on home, which I can do. It's not a huge deal. It's just something to consider, is that most people's assumption when they visit a website is that they can click on that header to go back to the homepage. So you might want to consider putting a link there. Should be pretty easy to do. Overall, I like your page a lot. I think that there's a little bit of SEO work to be done and a little bit of confusion in some things, but I love the way your galleries are laid out. I love that I have my own controls for the galleries so that I can look at things in my own pace. And I think that you've done a very good job. We just have a few tweaks to make. So for anyone watching, I know that it can seem kind of daunting to watch someone else's website review, but congratulations for making it to the end, because there are things to take away from every single one of these, even if it's not your own. Tony, I hope that this has helped you. And for anyone else watching, if you're like, I don't even know where the hell to start with my website, head on over to businessstraightedup.com/website blueprint, all one word, and that is a free guide on how to set up an overall map on your website with a video to walk you through it with a template. So I am happy to help. Again, if you would like your own website critiqued, reviewed, all that good stuff, I will tear it apart in a loving and kind way. Head on over to the Business Straight Up community at businessstraightup.com/community. And I am happy to help. Have an amazing rest of